I didn't have the guts. I'm one of the 5.
When Ty came to Adama and confessed that he was, in fact, a Cylon, Adama refused to believe it.
Colonel, I've known you for 30 years.
He destroyed everything that he trusted. And it was the one time that Adama just really completely fell apart, to the point where he couldn't carry on with his job.
Other people are sent to die.
There is a recurrent theme in the show about music.
You hear that song?
Yeah. The final 4 characters each started hearing a common song in their head, and that's what drew them together and made them realize that they were all Cylons. That song drew Anders and Ty and Tyrell all down to Kara's Viper.
Hard to explain, it's a feeling.
Yeah, I got a feeling too. You're both out of your fracking minds.
And that prompted Kara to get in the cockpit. She heard a colonial signal that was repeating over and over again, and it pointed in a specific direction.
Those 3 fracking Cylons just gave us Earth.
At that moment, the Cylons and the humans decided to call a truce, and they both decided, well, let's follow that signal.
We go to Earth together.
I think by this point in the show, the humans and Cylons have come to a place of trust, in part out of basic desperation. There's a point at which you're going to trust the person in the foxhole next to you, or you're not.
This is Admiral Adama. 3 years ago, I promised to lead you to a new home. Today, our journey is at an end. We have arrived at Earth.
I love the moment where they announce that they've found Earth because of how uplifting it is in such a real way. And it makes me see characters that I've come to know all these years celebrating and in this sort of throes of happiness in a way that they've never had a reason to be. And I love it most of all because then finally we dash their hopes completely and make them understand that all the things that they hoped for will not, as it turns out, come to pass.
You were feeling just a little too good, and it's Battlestar Galactica after all.
Yeah.
They followed the direction. They found a planet. This seems to be Earth. They go down, and the place has been devastated for thousands of years.
Earth.
It shocked all of them. We pick them up now with no hope, with not knowing what they do next. They don't even have something to dream about anymore. And what happens to these people under those circumstances? There are a host of questions that we've raised over the years that still remain unanswered that we'll be dealing with in the last 10. First and foremost is, of course, who is the last Cylon? Who's the 5th Cylon? What happened to Earth? You know, how is it destroyed? When? Why? What does that mean? And, you know, what's going to happen to Laura Roslin? They also know that somewhere out there are still the other Cylons, presumably still very much interested in their ultimate demise, especially since their resurrection ability has been destroyed. So those are probably very, very angry Cylons.
They have no idea of the threat that they've unleashed.
It's very important to me as the creator of the series to be able to write the last chapter, to take them all the way to the end.
We view this leg of Battlestar Galactica as the final act of a 3-act story. That last act of the story has its own beginning, middle, and end. And so viewers joining us now are going to be able to go along for that ride without feeling like they've missed out on what's come before, because it's still about characters with an objective who are going to face obstacles and avert disaster and succeed or fail at the end. And that's what great storytelling is, and I think that's where we are with the show right now.